Christopher Bell, native of Norman, Oklahoma, nearby, is one of the headliners, as well as the namesake for tonight's event, Tony Stewart. Guys, thanks for joining us. Talk about just the excitement for tonight's event and getting a marquee group of sprint car drivers like tonight's lineup.
Well, he's the marquee driver. I'm the one that's going to be chasing him all night, most likely. But I'm excited. I mean, I was scheduled to run a late model race here probably 15 years ago and got rained out, and I didn't get a chance to actually do it. So this is the first time that I've had a chance to actually run the dirt track here. So I'm excited about it. I've been to a lot of races there, but haven't got to race. So it's pretty cool that I get to run tonight, and it's cool that my buddy here, who is a part of TSR, gets to run too. So the hard part is he's probably going to whoop up on me tonight, and I'm going to feel like an idiot. But it's fun to race with Christopher and the ASCS group. I mean, they got a lot of really, really talented drivers. There's going to be some big names there tonight.
And Christopher, you obviously kicked off the season with a big win in the Chili Bowl. Coming back, I know you always enjoy racing at Texas Motor Speedway in the Truck Series, but coming here, racing at the dirt track where you've cut your teeth, just talk about that, your level of excitement for tonight's race.
Well, I'm really looking forward tonight. It's awesome to be able to kind of promote sprint car racing in front of the NASCAR fans, and hopefully we'll be able to get a good turnout and show how exciting sprint car racing is, because I feel like there's kind of an unknown whenever it comes to sprint car racing from the NASCAR fans. So there's going to be a lot of great race car drivers. The format should be pretty good. I got to run some laps on the track last night, so I feel like the track is it's going to be an awesome place, and I'm excited to go out there and have some fun.
Cool. We'll go and open up for questions. You could raise your hand. We'll go to Mike. We'll start with Jeff.
Jeff Gluck from jeffgluck.com for Tony. Since your name is on this thing, did you have any input in the format? And how do you go about choosing like the rules for something like this?
This is just a standard ASCS race, so it's their format, their rules. We're basically just hosting the event with Texas Motor Speedway, so it's it's their standard deal. So, and Christopher's around that format. I've ran their format. It's very similar to what they do at the Chili Bowl as far as there's no qualification runs. You draw for your heat races and you get passing points. So wherever you get points for your finishing position, plus for every car you pass, you get so many points also, and that's what lines you up for your main event. So it's a pretty neat format. It saves a lot of time with not having to waste time with qualifications. So it's a pretty smooth and efficient deal that's easy for the fans.
Bob?
Bob Hockeris, ESPN.com. Tony, this is an event that obviously Texas is trying to help, kind of put the NASCAR crowd and the sprint car crowd together. It's such different type of racing, but is there a way NASCAR can get more kind of grassroots, and is there a way to maybe connect with kind of what seems to be been a kind of a lost connection over the last couple of decades?
Yeah, this is it. I mean, it was cool because I got a chance to come to the Fandango event last night, and just before the end of it is when practice started over here, and it literally, when they got on the gas the first time, it stopped the show. There was like 10 seconds of dead air, and we're listening to the cars running, and everybody's eyes were big. It didn't sound like cup cars or Xfinity cars or trucks going around there. I mean, it's a unique sound that a sprint car has. So when you have 5,000 people that were here last night, and everybody kind of stopped, and then we asked how many people were actually going over there tonight. It was over half the people that were there last night are planning on going tonight, so that was pretty cool. And I think places like this and Charlotte that have a dirt track across the street there, it's the perfect way to kind of bridge that gap. And it's how I got here, it's how Christopher got here, Yaley, Leffler, Jeff Gordon, there's another handful of guys that I'm missing off the top of my head that have run cars like that are the reason that winning over there is what got us over here. So to be able to show those fans who they are and who the potential future stars are, it's a pretty cool deal. And they got a great facility over there. I mean, you're not going to just an average racetrack when you go next door here.
In the back, Drew.
Tony, Drew Davison with the Forward Star Telegram. Can you just talk about your history with Texas and Eddie Gossage and kind of how you guys have worked together, and this is just kind of a continuation of that?
Yeah, I mean, we've always got along really well. I mean, we've you know, he's a really good friend to me, and he's a guy that, you know, since I've been in the racetrack business now, I mean, he's a guy that when I have a really hard question, he's the guy I call and trust the most. So, you know, I know that him and Kenton Nelson, who's a big component of dirt track racing here in Texas too, really wanted to find a way to try to revive getting some racing back at the dirt track, and we thought this was the perfect way to do it.
And just to follow up to that, did you know you were going into the Bobblehead Hall of Fame, and where does that honor rank?
Not very high, not very high on my list. So, yeah, and the NASCAR Hall of Fame now has my overly large head in it, so it's in a good spot that's not in my house. So.
Down the front, Jerry.
Jerry Jordan over here to the right, Kicking the Tires and Performance Racing Network. Right here. Anyway, they hadn't done Fandango in a while, but you know, last night you were there. Can you tell us some of the highlights of that? What were some of the coolest, funny Tony Stewart moments last night?
I think all of it was funny. I mean, you know, we had Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, and then we had Clint Boyer, Kevin Harvick, and myself, and Kyle Petty was MC. So it's going to be funny with Kyle Petty emceeing it. When Gossage gets up there, it's going to be funny. You get Boyer up there, it's going to be out of control. And then Harvick and I are just the ones that just keep egging Clint on and, you know, making him get in trouble. So, and Joey was pretty funny last night too. So we had fun. The whole group of us had a really good time. And I think we realized it was going overboard when Gossage brought out the office chairs with the fire extinguishers hooked to them, and we were having fire extinguisher office chair races. So that was a real bad idea.
They banned the media, so we didn't.
They banned the media from that? Really?
Maybe somebody's not getting it. Maybe talking.
I've been trying to ban you guys from events for a long time and never figuring out how to do it, so I guess I'll have to call Gossage and figure out how it happened.
In the center, Lee.
Lee Spencer, Motorsport.com. Can you talk about your first win at Bubba Raceway Park, first win of the season, and is that just a testament to how tough that field is right now?
You know, ever since I've got back in the car, it's not felt like what I remembered sprint cars feeling like, and it's not that I'm forgetting the feel. We just haven't been able to find. I don't know what changed, whether the tires have changed or what, but something in the last 2.5 years has changed in the cars, and what setups we ran there, you know, 2.5 years ago weren't even remotely close. So it took us 7 nights to get kind of in the ballpark, and then night 8, you know, was last Saturday, and I was telling Christopher, I'm not sure if it's good enough to run well tonight, but it was good enough to get it done last weekend. But I still feel like we're starting to move the needle now and starting to kind of find what this car's wanting. But it's not been a lot of fun up to this point. We've really been struggling to get the car to where it feels right and has the feel that I'm used to feeling. So you know, we went as far as to go to Hanford, California after the Vegas race. Donnie Schatz and that team went out and tested out there. And so I got in the car and ran a couple laps just to make sure that, you know, see if there was something different with the cars. And it was like there was a big difference there, and realized that what I was thinking the field's supposed to be like is still correct. It was just a matter of finding out what we had to do with the car to get it that way. So, you know, Friday we got a little bit better, but Saturday we got it quite a bit better. I just don't know if we're exactly where we need to be yet, so we'll keep working on it.
And you mentioned Boyer. You were on his pit box, or at least talking to him on the radio last weekend, I guess, in Martinsville. And having spent a year with Bugga yourself, Bugga isn't afraid to tell Clint to shut up and drive. And, you know, was that one of the reasons that you knew that would be a good combination for those two?
Well, Clint's we're a lot alike, except for his attention span's fractional compared to mine. And you guys all know that. I mean, that's no secret. I mean, he would already been gone and out of the media center by now because he can't stay in one place for that long. But, you know, Bugga's the right guy for him. I mean, he knows how to, and I told him, I said, when he worked with me, I said, you know, if I start getting overboard on emotion, I said, just let me vent and then tell me to get focused again and drive the car. And that's what he's kind of doing with Clint too, and it seems to work for him as well. So, you know, I think Bugga's really shown a lot of maturity for a guy that's in his sophomore year as a crew chief this early, and having, you know, he's had, 4 drivers now in a year and, you know, a handful of races already. So, you know, I think he's doing a really good job with him.
Center, Chris.
ChrisKnightCatchfans.com. Tony, staying on the dirt topic, I was just curious how things are going at Eldora Speedway for the trucks this summer, if things were looking good ticket-wise and sponsorship-wise for the race.
The most exciting thing is my brand new grade, well, not brand new, it's new to us. My new used grader got there yesterday, and so I'm really excited. I got a big new shiny toy to get on when I get over there. So it's similar to what we were running at Eldora. So, you know, Roger Slack, that's the great thing about having Roger running Eldora. I don't really have to worry about much of anything. I mean, he's got it all under control, and like I said, that gives me the ability to get excited about new graders, and we got a new video board that's come in that's much larger than the one we had before. It's not quite Big Hoss big, but it's Big Hoss when it comes to short tracks. So it's a good sized video board, and so just the same thing that Roger always does. He always finds ways to make it bigger and better each year and make improvements. So we're excited about it.
How do you think stage racing will play into that truck racing?
Well, it's kind of been what we've been doing there from day one. I mean, it's worked just fine, you know, and you know, especially with the unique pit stops there. I mean, having the lead lap trucks come in and where you started, where you were when you came in the pits is where you're going to line up when you go back out. So you don't have to worry about, you know, fast or slow pit stops, you know, and hurting guys on pit road. It's kind of nice that the guy that earned his spot on the racetrack gets to keep it when they do their pit stop. So you know, I think that's worked really good, you know, the way it's been, and maybe one of the things of why it's ended up in the Cup and Xfinity Series now too.
Lee, you had a follow-up?
For people who haven't seen Christopher Bell on dirt, can you just talk about why you have taken such a shine to him, why you told him at the start of the year that if you couldn't go to Volusia, you wanted him to take your place? I mean, you know, anybody who's watched him evolve, even just in his Chili Bowl appearances, really know what a bright talent Christopher is.
Yeah, I'm surprised you guys haven't been talking to him because the kid's awesome. I mean, that's why we want him in our race car. He's, you know, I mean, you look at him, I mean, he's cute, he's got nice hair, and the kid can flat out wheel a race car. I mean, that's the best part about him. I mean, and he's fun to work with. I like being around him. He has fun, and even on a night when it doesn't go perfect, he's still smiling and he's still excited about the fact that he got to go run for you. So that it means a lot to us to have a guy like him. And you know, if you went to Chili Bowl and watched him, you know why he's such a great talent. When you got 370 of the best dirt track drivers in the country there, and he didn't win, just barely win it. He won it big. I mean, and those kind of wins are what really define you as a driver, and you know, when you watch that, you realize why he's special.
Over here to the left, Scott.
Tony, back to track ownership. With the passing of Lenny Watkins out at Devil's Bowl, would you be interested in owning another track?
No. I got all the headaches I need right now, so I have just enough people to balance the headaches that I have. So the hard part is, you know, and it's kind of the funny thing that we go through every year. I mean, for the last probably 5 years, it doesn't matter where we're at in the country, somebody comes up and says, yeah, the rumor is you're buying our local dirt track. And I don't know where the rumor starts everywhere, but according to everybody that says I'm rumored to buy a racetrack, I own about 120 tracks right now across the country. But it's, you know, people don't realize, I mean, it takes a lot to run any dirt track anywhere in the country. It takes a lot of work and a lot of resources and people to do it. So, you know, for somebody like me, I have to have somebody like Roger Slack that I know has been in the business for a long time and can single-handedly do it on his own without me being there. I'm the one that shows up and I disrupt the system and do what I want to do, but you have to have somebody like him that can do it. So to have different racetracks, you know, we have 3 of them now. We've got one in Kentucky, one in Illinois, and one in Ohio. So it's a lot to manage what we've got already.
Cool. I want to let Christopher have the last word. 'Cause
He should have been talking the whole time. I'm telling you, he's going to be the most talented guy across the street tonight that's going to be there.
Christopher, if you could talk about what it means to race in an event like this with Tony's name on it and knowing what he's done in motorsports and dirt track racing.
Well, I guess the biggest thing is it's going to be awesome to be able to finally tie the connection between sprint car races and NASCAR races, because I don't know how many times you show up and it's kind of, sprint car racing is relatively unknown to the NASCAR fans. So I've been kind of wondering ever since I was a kid coming down here, and you drive down 35 going down to the local dirt tracks where I ran micro sprints, and you'd see the big track and then you'd see the dirt track. And for a while there, I feel like sprint car racing was absent at the dirt track. So it's awesome to be able to bring sprint cars here on NASCAR weekend. Hopefully we get a great turnout. It's looking like it's going to be. So I'm just excited to tie the bridge there and let NASCAR fans get a taste of what sprint car racing really is.
One last question. I guess for you, how important is it to have sprint car racing, continuous sprint car race, even though you have your truck? I know some maybe drivers are maybe a little more limited, but how important it is for you in your development?
Well, for me, whenever you go sprint car racing, it's so competitive. It's probably one of the most competitive forms of motorsports there are, and so it helps keep you sharp. And the more you race, the better you are. And I feel like racing sprint cars on my off weekends is really important for me to stay sharp. And they're fast race cars, so anytime you get in a sprint car, and we're going to be running, I think we were running 13 seconds out there, so whenever you get used to running 13-second laps and you go back truck racing where you're doing 30-second laps around here, it just I feel like it slows everything back down whenever you get in a stock car.
Cool, well, guys. Thank you guys for joining us. Look forward to the next 2 days. Again, Tony Stewart's Texas Sprint Car Nationals, presented by Machinery Auctioneers, tonight and tomorrow night at the Texas Motor Speedway Dirt Track. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.